what I do know for sure is that
Oh, sorry, what's that, Ilhan Omar? What's that you know for sure? You squealing sow. She don't know shit. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and rage bait you all with the thousands of videos that I could show you of dysgenic, socially retarded epsilons, freaks, who were, frolicking and spazzing with delight at the news of Charlie Kirk's passing yesterday.
Buddy, I don't do guns. I like to watch people. I like to watch people and enjoy it, yeah. I like to see the light leave your eyes.
Crikey. Like I was saying, I could show you thousands of videos like that one, but it just feels a little bit cheap and pointless, really, because while those people, there are a lot of them, they do live, well, I say live, they do exist amongst us. I don't know what you can really do about them. And also social media algorithms are amplifying the more extreme messages. The more shocking things you say, the more shocking something you say is, the more likely it is to get clicks and interaction and whatnot. So I'm not sure it really shows us the reality. The people I want to focus on are the people, like I showed you there at the beginning of the video, Ilhan Omar, people who are in positions of power, people who are eloquent and intelligent enough to know what they're saying and to own what they're saying. And they do have an agenda. They are being manipulative. They are the people that we have to defeat. There's no reasoning with that person. God bless it. There's no, what are we going to do there? We have to work out a way to defeat the people who are upsetting these people. The Ilhan Omars, the Hassan Pikers, the Van Joneses. These people are the ones who are the problem, right? However, as I said, I'm not going to rage bait you too much in today's video. We were all a bit emotional, I think, yesterday. And hopefully today's video, hopefully we're going to have a couple of laughs. All right? Even though it doesn't feel like a time for laughing. And hopefully a little bit of your faith might be restored in humanity. Charlie Kirk, a tweet of Charlie Kirk's from a while back is being spread all over the place. People are sharing it everywhere. And it says, we learn a lot about people when somebody dies. And I think that's very wise. I think that was a very wise thing to say. And I think it's a very true thing to say. So we're going to take a look at that. Let's get into it.
Who's Daniel Boland? Oh, Daniel Boland, this is a heavy hitter. Do you guys know who this is?
Charlie was someone who once said, guns save lives after a school shooting.
See, I have to stop it right there. This is the level of manipulation you get from these people. So what is Ilhan Omar saying there? That Charlie Kirk celebrated the death of children at a school shooting? Is that what she's suggesting? That after a school shooting, he came out and said, well, okay, I'm sorry, but, that's the price we have to pay. That's not what he's saying. It's not. You're working on, you're manipulating the voters whose IQ isn't high enough to think critically about a statement like that. You know full well, right? Let me explain my point here. And Americans, by all means, correct me in the comments if I get anything wrong here, or tell me what I'm missing here. Because as we established in yesterday's video, as I've said many times before, I live here in quaint old northern Spain. There is no violence. No one dies ever. Okay? Literally no one dies. The life expectancy is like 95 or whatever it is. You certainly don't get beaten to death or stabbed to death in the street here. There have been 8 murders in the city where I live in the last 10 years. And they were all like some drunk old man killing his wife. Which, Basically, you don't walk down the street. There's no marauding gangs of thugs. There's no danger. Okay? You don't feel it. So I understand that I do not live in the US. I live in a completely different place, and I understand Americans saying we need guns to protect ourselves. Can somebody please just put this debate to bed for once and for all? Because I don't understand how the Second Amendment in the Constitution, the right to bear arms, right? How is it ever going to change? You're never going to have a government that comes in and changes that. What are they going to do? Pack the Supreme Court somehow with radical judges that believe you can just tear up the Constitution? Basically, the only way you could ever change that amendment would be to have, as far as I can see, maybe I'm completely wrong about this, you would have to have a civil war and wipe out hundreds of thousands, millions of Americans if you ever wanted to enforce any kind of meaningful change there, right? I don't understand why these Democrats say to people, well, we need to make reforms to... All of the criminals that have guns in your country are not going to hand over their weapons to you. It's not going to happen. It wouldn't be lawful to demand that law-abiding citizens hand them over, and as if the criminals are going to do it. I don't think even the law-abiding Americans who are gun owners would go, oh, all right, they changed the law, there you go. It's never happening. So that's just the first piece of manipulation that you hear from Ilhan Omar. And I think this is just a constant theme, and this is what I can't stand with these grifter politicians. There's no nuance to anything they're saying. They know that the people, their demographic that they're aiming for is the people who think people die at the hands of gunfire. That's bad. Guns are bad. We must get rid of guns. I understand. As I said, I live here in Kuwait, northern Spain. There's no guns. I don't want people to have guns. I don't want to be living in a violent society where you're risking your life when you go out in the street. You can't walk alone at night. I want to live, like I said, I was in Amsterdam last week, and there's little girls dodging the cars with their bikes unaccompanied. I mean, 9-year-old, 10-year-old girls. That's the place I want to live. But I understand that America isn't that. So this is just the first example, and I know I've rambled a little bit, but it seems like the whole fucking thing is a manipulation tactic. Everything they're saying, well, we don't condone violence, but Charlie Kirk did say, right after a school shooting, that guns save lives. What's your point there? Your only point there is to confirm to the retards that vote for you, to confirm their biases, right? To further your own career. There are no good intentions with saying stuff like that. It's rage bait manipulation.
Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd in the hands of Minneapolis police.
I think he called him a scumbag.
Right.
Am I about to do the 5-minute rant about George Floyd? No, I'll do it very quickly. Nobody was happy when George Floyd died. Everybody watched that video and was extremely distressed by it. Nobody liked to see a man suffering and choking to death. However, a model citizen he was not. That's just a fact. There was a lot of fentanyl in him. That's a fact. And I just don't think there needed to be statues of him. And I don't think that cities needed to be burned down in his name. And I don't think that the officer that killed him meant to kill him. I don't think it's the same as Charlie Kirk, in every measurable way, a model citizen, going to a university to express very politely his views, to people who vehemently disagree with him, getting blown away because of those views is in any way comparable to the unfortunate, nasty death of George Floyd that nobody enjoyed watching. Everybody was distressed by it. I don't think those two things are in any way comparable, and I don't think that makes me crazy. But once again, what you're doing there is manipulating the retards, the poor retards, who think that one guy was murdered because he was black and the other guy was murdered because he was evil, right? That is the level of people you're trying to appeal to, you witch.
Have no regard, downplay slavery and what black people have gone through in this country.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Look, I'm sorry. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to echo his sentiments. Let's downplay slavery a bit. All right? Not the people who went through it. That's awful. But the great-great-grandchildren of people who went through it. Shut the fuck up. What do you think, my grandparents went through? Second World War survivors. What kind of traumatic shit do you think they saw? As though everyone's just had a fucking great time. Look, your great-great-grandfather may have been on, probably wasn't, but may have been on a plantation somewhere. That's awful. Slavery's awful. Right? The British Empire and the United States, in fact, were two of the first places to eliminate slavery in the whole world. And it's still going on in loads of other places. We all know this. I don't want to be a hack. I know everyone's saying this all over the place, but it's true. All right? So shut the fuck up. Yes, let's downplay it. Let's talk about my grandmother who watched 7 of her brothers and sisters and her father get blown to pieces. Do you know what I mean? Let's talk about, well, I'm not going to mention other stuff, but people very close to me have had shitty lives, right? I'm not talking about my great-great-great-grandparents who I never met, Because, by the way, if they were your great-great-great-grandparents, they're the great-great-great-great-grandparents of about another 150 people, all right, who you don't know. Probably a lot of them are doing great. Some of them are not doing so great. And what my point is, the person who was alive 150 years ago in your lineage has no bearing on you. So, yeah, shut the fuck up. I'm sick of it. I'm so fucking tired of it. Like I said, this is going to be a really feel-good video after yesterday's.
By saying Juneteenth should never exist. And I think, there are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Complete rewriting of history.
Oh God, look at that patronising, the slow blink. It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's who he reminds me of. Bullshit. Complete rewriting of history. Is it? I'm having a great time. You all having a great time? Is it a rewriting of history? To say that he just wanted civil discourse. Look, the guy had some out there opinions. I'm not saying he didn't. Charlie said stuff that I did not agree with, by the way. Like saying if his 10-year-old daughter were to be violated, he would want her to see the pregnancy through. That, to me, is insane. Okay. But he had his principles. He had his way. To him, life was above everything else. He was just going out there and saying these things and trying to explain politely. If you've seen the videos of him talking to black people very respectfully, trans people very respectfully, he wasn't some kind of fascist bully. What the fuck? These people pretending to have given a shit about Charlie Kirk when they will have just seen a few bias-confirming clips of him on their trained Instagram algorithm. When I sat through hours of it, they make me sick. The people in Spain here as well, it's on the news now, and there's all these... I've had a back and forth with some people on Twitter. Ooh, in Spain. Talk about Charlie Kirk. They don't know who Charlie Kirk is. Were they watching Charlie Kirk's podcast? These Spanish people, these 60-year-old Spanish people on a daytime TV set. Get out of my sight, you disgusting spaz. It's a complete rewriting of history. Shut up.
Yeah, there is nothing more effed up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade or so. And
what other buzzwords have you got there, eh? Ilhan Omar, you're not even real. You're a hologram. There's nothing there, is there? There's nothing there. Oh, God, there's just nothing there. It's all a facade. It's nonsense. Shouldn't bother me, but it does. I can't bear... There's nothing more humiliating. There's nothing more humiliating than dying the way Charlie did. And then having these evil non-people talk about you. It's such a final humiliation. And I know he's above that. He was thick-skinned. And he's at peace, I guess. But it's like his wife having to listen to people like this scumbag. Oh, she's a scumbag. Oh, she's a grifter. Christ. God, it's awful. It makes my skin crawl. Are we all having a good time? Just checking in on you. Make sure you're all having a great time with me here today. We're having fun. There's plenty of jokes. Let's see if there's any hope left in the world. Let's carry on.
I don't really care how we got here so much. There is a lot of blame to go around. I do not see you guys as victims. You give as good as you get. There is a lot of anger. There is a lot of exaggeration. It is all hate for profit on the fringe of this battling binary political system. My question is now what?
Charlie Kirk has never advocated. Charlie Kirk has never advocated violence ever. Charlie Kirk was only
I'm not saying he did.
A nonviolent, peaceful debater. He went into places where he knew he was hated in order to engage.
I agree.
Kindly and humanly
that
with people.
he was not about violence.
For you to say that it's the same thing.
Oh, hold on.
It's not, Chris.
Hold on. I'm not talking about it with Charlie. Benny, don't play games with me.
Hey, Benny, don't play around with me. Cuomo. The Cuomos? Who do they think they are? The Gambinos? Michael Francis? All right. Look, that wasn't what we're looking for. What are we looking for? I'll tell you what I'm going to show you here. There's some clips floating around X at the moment of Charlie Kirk that people are chopping up and editing so that everyone thinks he was some kind of vile racist. And it's so annoying. And this is exactly what's wrong with everything now. That everyone's putting hours of themselves on the internet. Everyone's doing 1,000 podcasts. And you can make everyone look like Hitler. And the stuff they're doing with Charlie Kirk now, after he's died, and he can't defend himself. And it's so annoying to watch. I'll show you the clips, and I think most of you are going to understand that it's all taken out of context. I don't think I'm going to have to do any explaining, but I might do a little bit. Just a little bit.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own.
Now, Charlie's not necessarily being polite there, but I guess most of you understand that he's talking about affirmative action. He's not saying black women are incapable of doing anything. He didn't say black women don't have the brain power. He's saying those women, those specific women he was talking about, who he is saying, who are admitting to being DEI beneficiaries, wouldn't have been brilliant enough to get where they are had it not been for affirmative action. And look, I don't think there's anything controversial in saying that affirmative action is a crazy idea. I understand that you want social mobility, right? You want people to be able to get out of poverty. But it's always seemed crazy to me that there are universities in the US that will demand a lower score of you depending on the color of your skin, or a higher score. Like if you're Oriental Asian, you're kind of screwed with the affirmative action. It's negative action. For those guys, you got 95%. You needed 96, I'm afraid. Miss Park. No, it's. I'm sorry. I agree with him. There's nothing racist in saying that affirmative action is crazy, and that those women he was speaking about were not particularly brilliant. You know. And he's making a joke about it. People are cutting that up and saying, oh, here's Charlie Kirk saying that black women don't have the brain power to be... He didn't say that. And there's loads of other examples. It's really annoying. I can't be bothered to go through it. Anyway, let's end on a positive note. I did see a lot of this yesterday on Twitter, and I've seen a lot of it over the last couple of days. People who did surprise me with their reactions. And here was one that really touched me. Because it's from a guy who's gone through a very strange career arc. Ethan Klein of H3 Podcast. Yeah, his reaction was very surprising to me.
It was horrific. This is not... And well, like I said at the time, and people on the left were even criticizing me. They go, oh, Ethan was talking bad about Luigi. How much has he changed? That was my point. He went out and murdered this guy, right? What changed? Not a single fucking thing changed. That's not how we enact change. And so I wouldn't recommend watching the video, but for me, it's terrifying.
I feel like it's such a terrifying moment for everybody, and to understand this is what we've come to, and I can't help but think about the poor wife, you know,
and kids. Yeah, we've all been scared. Some of us have been looking into getting our concealed license permit.
Yeah.
But seeing it like that definitely made it more realistic and very scary.
I've avoided watching the video, but I heard Ethan's reaction when he saw it. I was like, I knew that was something you don't see every day.
I was brought to tears then, because I don't know. I don't think I need to explain it anymore. But I hope people take this seriously.
Yeah, so God bless Ethan Klein there, because, you know, I was a fan of him many, many years ago, and then he kind of went down into a strange place, got very fat, got all these tics, and turned into a total raving leftist lunatic doing that show with Hassan Piker, and it seems like he's on a bit of a redemption arc lately. He's lost a lot of weight. I don't know. Maybe it's having kids. It makes you have a bit more of a... makes you zoom out a bit or something. I don't know. But good for him, I guess. Actually, you know what? We'll end up with another positive note. Let's just show that it's not all... that's all you need. Do you need me to patronise you anymore today? Let's look at a black woman. A black woman. Let's look at a black woman.
Making fun of Charlie's death is not going to take away all of the problems in the black community. Black people are celebrating because this man told the truth about y'all. And it doesn't make sense to compare his death to George Floyd because George Floyd overdosed doing street life stuff. Charlie Kirk died doing what he loved. He was inspiring many students, many people worldwide. George Floyd only did that after he died, and after the media portrayed him as an angel and a saint. He was none of that. Y'all can celebrate all y'all want, but this is going to show everybody y'all's true colors. And y'all have already showed your ass enough, but I hope this wakes people up about y'all. I've been trying to warn people that y'all are out of control and y'all need some sort of guidance. But wishing death on the people trying to express that y'all have a problem, that just says y'all have a problem that you do not want to be addressed because what? Y'all are afraid of accountability.
So, you know, I guess the hopeful note we might end on is this isn't black versus white. This isn't right versus left as much as it seems like it is. It's good versus evil, I think. And I've had a lot of Americans writing to me. You know, some in private, some in, some writing some quite aggressive comments. I was feeling a bit fired up over the last couple of days, so apologies for any overly aggressive responses. And a lot of you just, sad. But I do feel a bit more positive. I don't know why. Maybe it's, I don't know. I've seen a lot of good in people over the last couple of days. A lot of bad too. But it feels like we're right, you know? So that's kind of comforting. It feels like there's a lot of people who feel like we're right. And even the people who are clearly on the wrong side of this, they're very mealy-mouthed about how they're saying it, and they need to be called out. There was hundreds of clips I was intending to show you, but I've been rambling a lot again. I will get back to some brilliantly, beautifully edited, clippy, jumpy videos very soon. I just needed to get these long ones off my chest over the last day or two, because I did, all right? Shut up. Thanks for watching if you're still here. And like the video if you've enjoyed any part of it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and let me know what you thought in the comments. Follow me on X and on Instagram. It's all under the video if you want to know when I bring out a new video. Hopefully it'll be about a new topic, the next one. And yeah, follow me on Patreon if you want to get some access to some exclusive videos and help out with the channel even further. Look, all right, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Goodbye.
¡Hey! Es que nos digan lo que hacen todos.